Alright, after that crazy Season 3 finale, we know you need some more Reacher content. Luckily, I've got some great news for you. It's no surprise that a fourth season for Amazon Prime's Best Action series was confirmed before the finale of Season 3 even premiered. There were some questions surrounding the show's schedule, and considering we hadn't heard anything for quite a while about filming, I understand. But we finally have an answer about when we can expect Season 4. Let's dive into what we know about Season 4, who's joining the cast, and what Lee Child's story has in store for Jack Reacher. Amazon Prime's action detective series Reacher ended its most recent season on a high note, as its lead character, Jack, faces off against his most dangerous opponent yet. Oliver Reacher's Polly, Zachary Beck's 7-foot-tall bodyguard and former U.S. soldier. At the beginning of the show's third season, we learn that Reacher is working undercover for the DEA in order to win the trust of a very suspicious rug seller, Zachary Beck. Through a series of flashbacks, we learn that Reacher isn't working with the DEA out of the good of his heart, but because his undercover mission would allow him to take out Xavier Quinn. Previously, Quinn was responsible for the death of Dominique Cole, Reacher's former MP colleague. In an epic final battle, Reacher manages to defeat Polly, not through sheer strength necessarily, but with his wits. While Polly wasn't looking, Reacher pulls the bullet from Polly's gun's belt, plugging the barrel of the gun. Thinking he's won, Polly aims his gun at Reacher and shoots, only to have the gun explode right in his face, killing him. Reacher and his team have saved the day. Even Villanueva manages to survive the final battle, allowing him to retire from the DEA peacefully, even though his death was somewhat foreshadowed early in the season. Just like Reacher's previous stories, Season 3 is a standalone installment. And for the most part, it has a very conclusive ending. While fans weren't too sure which Lee Child book was going to be adapted next, we now have an answer. In terms of plot, we actually have a really solid idea of what Season 4 will consist of. What we don't know for sure is when we expect to see Season 4. Lee Child mentioned in February that Season 4 was written and ready to go, which isn't too surprising considering it's heavily based on his Jack Reacher book, Gone Tomorrow, meaning all the writers really had to do is adapt the story for TV. Back in April, we also learned that filming and release would be most likely pushed back, as Frances Neagley would be receiving her very own spin-off series, which would be using the same crew. So, their hands are pretty full. Thankfully, it is believed that Neagley has wrapped as of June 7. In late May, Reacher star Alan Ritchson posted that he had just started his training for the Season 4 stunts, meaning there was a chance they hadn't started filming yet. Not until they learned their fight choreography, that is. Finally, only a few months ago, photos from the Philadelphia set of Reacher Season 4 were leaked, proving that filming had in fact started. So, when can we expect a release date? Well, let's take a look at the timeline for the previous seasons to find an answer. Season 3 began filming in late 2023, wrapped in summer 2024, then aired in February 2025. Should Season 4 follow a similar schedule, we may have Reacher available on Amazon Prime as early as summer 2026.
We're about to do a whole lot of cowboy.
As I mentioned before, Reacher Season 4 is confirmed to be based on Lee Child's book, Gone Tomorrow. We know this to be true from Alan Ritchson's Instagram, who shared a photo of Child's book along with the caption, "Reacher Season 4 will be based on Gone Tomorrow by Lee Child." Fans often talk about the book as one of the better installments of the Reacher series, meaning Season 4 is bound to be the best yet. So, for those of us that haven't read the Reacher books, what can we expect from Season 4? Warning, if these plot predictions are true, they could be spoilers to the new season, so proceed at your own risk. In an opening arc to the book, Jack Reacher notices a suspicious woman on the New York subway at 2 a.m. To determine if the woman is a suicide bomber, Reacher recalls his military training, utilizing an 11-point system to make a decision on her threat level. But as he proceeds with the 11 steps, he realizes this is no false alarm. Just before he can help her, she dies by suicide by shooting herself. Shaken by the tragic incident, Reacher is determined to track down the woman's identity and who she might have been working for. But the NYPD is strangely determined to keep Reacher off of the case. Knowing Reacher, this won't deter him in the slightest. Reacher teams up with Detective Theresa Lee and the suicide bomber's brother, Jacob. Together, they learn this case is much bigger than they thought. involving government officials and Afghan war veterans.
I'm really gonna need a gun.
So, what was the motive behind the woman, Susan's, suicide in the beginning of the book? Well, turns out Susan had acquired compromising information on a classified, failed Afghanistan mission, no doubt leading her to fear for her life. It's possible that she thought Reacher was working for the Afghan government and was coming to take her into custody, where she would have no doubt been brutally tortured. In response, Susan decided to take her own life to avoid a fate worse than death. Aside from the obvious return of Alan Ritchson, we know for sure that Season 4 will consist of almost an entirely new cast. Like previous seasons, Reacher finds himself in a new city, meaning he will encounter an all-new cast of characters. Sadly, Jay Baruchel will not be returning as Jacob Merrick. However, Jacob is slated to have a much bigger role in this season, according to Deadline, and is set to be played by Christopher Rodriguez-Marquette. Considering Neagley is receiving her own spin-off series, we can't really expect to see her in Season 4, meaning all we really know about the cast for Season 4 is that Reacher and Jacob are a part of it. That's it. The behind-the-scenes photos from the set of Season 4 aren't much of a help either, only showing Reacher and a female counterpart, possibly Theresa Lee. We honestly don't know too much about Reacher Season 4, except for the potential main plot points of the film, which, if you ask me, is a great thing. I'm guessing that because so much of the plot has been predicted based on Lee Child's book, that the production team is passionate about keeping the rest of the process under tight wraps. What did you think of these Jack Reacher theories? Do you think Season 4 will follow Gone Tomorrow super closely, or will it pave its own path? Who do you hope returns in Season 4? What kind of fight scenes are you excited to see in Reacher's newest adventure in the Big Apple? Do you think a summer 2026 release date is too hopeful? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more theories just like these. Thanks again for watching Screen Rant, and I'll see you in the next one.